Morning. Today's episode is something you've all probably been looking forward to. We're going to talk about IVs, and there's somebody here who wants to say good morning to you all as well. Stato Dave.
Morning, nice to see you all. How's everybody?
So yes, we're going to talk about IVs today. What they are, what's the point, what it means, you name it, we'll try and cover it all. We've had some questions left to us about IVs, obviously, because that's what the video is about, but I'm sure we're going to say a few more things along the way as well. Right, so question number one is, what does IV stand for?
Individual value. It's basically a culmination of your three main stats are your attack, defense and stamina, and your IV is based on the level of 1 to 15 of each of them stats. So it gives you an individual value and a potential of each Pokemon.
Right. So as far as IVs go then, if a Pokemon has one good IV and the other two are no good, can that still be a better Pokemon than something that's got two good IVs?
It's personal preference really. It depends on what you want the Pokemon as a basis for. If you want it as a defender, as long as it's got 13 to 15 defensive stats, it will serve its purpose. You put it in a gym and it will do its job. Same again with stamina. In a gym, it will do its job. Attacking stats 13 to 15, it's a very good attacker. It will help you out. It will be more of a glass cannon. It will take damage as you fight in the gym, but you will survive with just one of the major three stats. Your preference would be high to get all three, but you will survive with just one.
And if it has all three, then it's 100%
IV, and you'll have,
if its stats are maxed.
If its stats are maxed, and it will give you a very good all-round Pokemon, but each one, they have individual base stats anyway. So you'll have, say for instance, your Tyranitar will have a 200 odd attack, 100 odd defense, nearly 200 stamina, sorry. And the IVs is basically a boost onto that stats. So your IV will then be added onto that stat and so on.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll show you all now. I've got 100% IV. Calm it. I've got 100% IV Piloswine. So what I'll do is I'm going to appraise this now. So you can. This is on a Valor account, of course. So you can all kind of see what the how the appraisal system works. So I'm on my Piloswine right now. It's 100%. I already know that. So if I go and click that menu on the bottom right there and go into appraise, we get given this message. Let's take a look at your Piloswine. Overall, your Piloswine simply amazes me. That's like the best message you can get for a first message when you're appraising. Its HP is its strongest feature. Now its strongest feature can be one of the three, two of the three, or all three can be the same. If it's all three, it's a Hondo. Hondo meaning 100% IV. So HP is its strongest feature, then its attack, and they're just impressed with the defense as well. Now, even if you have that, the next message is critical. If it says blown away by its stats, that means it's 100% IV. But if it says the next one down, which for whatever team you're in, it can differ. For these, for Valor, it says its stats are excellent or something like that. Then it's probably going to range something like 87 to 93. So that's what 100% IV appraisal looks like.
Only on Valor. Got to point that out.
Yeah, that's only on Valor.
Each team has a different message for each stat.
I can only show you Valor, but if you ask your friends, I'm sure they'll show you Instinct and Mystic.
Instinct I can cover if you want more, Ria.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Instinct, your first message of its Hondo will be, overall, your Pokemon looks like it can battle with the best of them. Its best quality is its HP. Attack is great too, and its defense is great too. And then the critical message for Instinct is its stats are the best I've ever seen, there's no doubt about it. and then obviously it'll give you its messages about size, and then see you later sort of thing. So you just need to cover your Mystic one.
I'm going to Google it. Right, so for Team Mystic, the phrase will be, overall your Pokemon is a wonder. What a breathtaking Pokemon. That's the equivalent of, for Valor, simply amazes me. Then it will say its best attribute is HP, attack, defense. Then the critical message at the end will be, its stats exceed my calculations. If you get that, if you're on Team Mystic and you get that appraisal for a Pokemon, that means it's 100% IV. Now, another question that's been left to us. Right, the next question is, what statistical attributes of a Pokemon have an effect on the IV? Well, I know that the answer really is all of them, but
yeah,
you can enlighten us more.
All of them will, and like we said before, the Pokemon come with 3 major base stats: an attack stat, defense stat, and a stamina stat. Every Pokemon species on the game will have a set attribute stat for them 3.
Look at them. Look at the hang on a minute.
We've got a monster bee in the house, and Oddie the dog's decided it's dinner time.
You went to it. I think I better save the bee. Where were we?
Well, you just asked me that one. The statistical attributes.
Shall I just ask again, or?
It's up to you.
Right, the next question is, what statistical attributes of a Pokemon have an effect on the IV? Now I know all 3 do, but you can tell us more.
It's the same, it's the basic 3. The same as we've already covered. You've got your attack stats, your defense stats, and your stamina stats. Every Pokemon species that will spawn in the game has a set stat for each one. And then your individual IVs on top of that will add a boost for your individual Pokemon you've caught. So say if you have a 0% IV, it will sit at the basic stat rates that are set for that Pokemon. 100% IV, you will have a boost on them, and it will all add up to your overall CP, and it will give you a slight boost in your CP. Better potential of the Pokemon, the better it performs. So they all have the base attribute, and then your IV dependent will determine how far you can push that Pokemon to its true potential. Right,
so on that basis then, I'll ask this question now because it is right here. Is there much difference between, say, a 90% IV and 100% IV in the grand scheme of things?
In my opinion, no, not really. Because it is literally just a stat boost. Your Pokemon will still perform to its max for its base attributes. The IV only gives it a slight boost and there's a slight advantage. So, like I say, a 14 attack and a 15 attack are not going to have that big a difference in battle.
What's up? Hang on a second. What? You're looking for that bee, ain't you? Right, sorry about that. The bee that came in, my dog wants to kill it, but I obviously let it go, and he's not happy that he didn't get the chance to play with the bee.
So he's now peed off with him.
So Houndour is not happy that Beedrill ran away.
Right. So
don't knock stuff off the table, you. Come on, out the way.
So like we're saying, with IVs basically just being a boost to the base stats, your difference between a 90% IV and 100% IV will only sit at between, say, maybe 10 to 30 CP. So
like we just looked over a Flareon, an 89 IV Flareon,
sat with. So you have to take into account base stats will always stay the same. They're not going to change. The base stats for each species Pokemon are set in stone. The IV is the only boost you will get to the base stats. So
that the Flareon is 89 IVs, maxed out at level 40. What's up, mate? Is 2,863 CP with 113 HP. Now, compared to 100%,
Flareon, which I have in my possession is 2,904 with 114 HP. So it's still the same glass cannon it was, and it will take a lot of damage very quickly. But it has the slight CP advantage. It's not going to make all that much difference
What's that, like
in battle.
50 CP difference?
Yeah, if that.
And 1 HP.
So it will attack at a greater rate, but it will still suffer the same damage. It's not going to make all that much difference. So it's personal preference on what you want, whether you want to save 85 plus, save 80, 90, whether you just want to chase hondos and be a hondo snob like certain players.
Well, like me, yeah. I was there at one stage of my Pokemon career. All I wanted was anything over 90, and I still pretty much am there, anything over 90, and I think that's reasonable. But when it comes to like this Flareon, it's 89 IVs. I suppose I can give a bit of way when it comes to something that's 89, if you're going to use it.
That's where I'm slightly different. My Pokemon are based on, I have certain Pokemon that I will use to take gyms, certain Pokemon I will use to defend gyms, and then I have my raid teams. And I base the 100 IVs doesn't really bother me particularly. I want my Pokemon to serve the purpose that I want of them. So as long as they're 85 upwards and they have a base stat that will do what I want it to do, I will go with that Pokemon.
Right, well that brings it, well it doesn't bring us, this pretty much nearly answers this question we've got here. What's the ideal keep bin IV? This player here currently keeps anything over 80. Which, now I'm going to answer for myself. I'll keep anything over 90, but if it's a usable Pokemon, such as Flareon, actually, I would keep that. And I've already maxed one out on my main account. If it was something like Tyranitar or Dragonite, I'd perhaps keep it, but I wouldn't max it out. I wouldn't waste my rare candies. Well, I say rare candies. The candies for those Pokemon are rare anyway, but I wouldn't waste my candies and Stardust on maxing out an 89% Pokemon.
No, not
such as Dragonites and Tyrannosaurs.
Not for the level of what you want to achieve, because it's only really good for attacking. So unless you get a maxed attack stat, anything below 90 is not really worthwhile on a Dragonite or Tyranitar, because as we know, you stick them in a gym and they are a waste of time. They are. Yeah. The definition of glass cannons. They die quicker than but then again, saying that, everybody keeps putting blisters in gyms and they are terrible. I have lots of Pokemon that will eat them. Waste of time. If you've got
the backup, yeah. But if you haven't, if you're going to attack a Blissey, what do you take in, and has it got good IVs? Myself, I would definitely, like Machamp, I would take a Machamp. I know that it's going to be weak to the fairy type moves and psychic moves that a Blissey can have, but I'll always take a Machamp in first. For one, he's got 4 arms. For two, he's got the fight type moves, and against a normal type Pokemon, fight type moves are double effective. So I like to take my Machamp in, followed by Ursaring, funnily enough, and I've maxed him out as well. He's like 93.
I've got a 100 IV Ursaring that chews through Blisses.
Yeah.
I also, the Machamp, Gengars do massive amount of damage to Blissey as long as you're very good at dodging, because they are not the best.
Yeah, but my point is, and you've kind of proven it as you're saying what Pokemon you take in, you need those Pokemon to be worth powering up.
Yeah, they've got to be worth powering up. And
that'll be where IVs come into it.
IVs, but
kind of.
Technically, like we say, IVs are just a statistical boost. It's mainly base stats on the Pokemon that count. IVs, yes, they are great. They give you an added boost, and they will help you in the long run. So it is well worth looking for higher percentage IVs. But if you're not finding them, you can get by, and you can do very well in gym. Well, in this current gym system, which is expected to change very soon. Again, which Niantic have said that they're looking at the gym system again.
Good.
Because they want to bring the trainer badge back, which anyone that's not got the gold on that will know that that's really
Well,
annoying.
actually, I showed everybody in the last video.
That is really annoying.
I have got 0 on that. I mean, I'll show you now.
Yeah. Which we kind of had an idea they do it because they left the badge
Look,
on.
there it is, 0.
See, that's
I showed you all yesterday. I mean,
That's
hopefully
just-
it's not too bright.
painful to watch. That is seriously painful.
There you go. Big fat 0 on Ace Trainer.
But if rumours are true, that is coming back along with the gym rework again. So we might see IVs have a completely different setup within the gym structure again.
So this could be a waste of time as a video.
Not a waste of time, because
But for now, it is important.
these Pokemon will always, with the higher IVs, will always have a better standing than other Pokemon. But we don't know how it's going to affect the new gym rework because we don't know what they have planned for us. It's a bit of a strange.
Right, we've got an intriguing question here. I already know the answer, of course. But this player is, I think he's fairly new. If a Pokemon has good IVs and you evolve it, what happens? Now, I can tell you now, the IVs just stay the same. But yeah, the IVs will stay the same. It doesn't matter what you evolve.
I can explain this. There is lots of issues of players saying their IVs have changed during evolution. It's not actually the IVs changing. With most of us, we use other apps away from the game. Yes, we're against terms of service, but we use these apps to give us a more accurate IV than what the appraisal system gives us. So when you level up and you have, say, 100 IV Pokemon, you will level up and then you'll evolve your Pokemon, you'll go back onto the app you're using. I use Pokegenie, personal preference, very good app. If you haven't updated Pokegenie to say that you've leveled up and then you then rescan that Pokemon, it will offer you an IV range. Instead of the accurate figure, it will give you an IV range. So your IVs could drop from, say, 100 to 96, 93.
Well, it's like when I said that critical message at the end of an appraisal. Yeah. It can be anything from 87 to 93, which is why when you use I use Pokegenie as well. Now, don't ban me, please, Niantic. But like, I always, even if it comes up with what I think is a good figure, like a trustable, like if it just comes up 91, and I'll be like, yeah, I can agree with that. I'll still put the appraisal in because you never know. I've put 100% Pokemon on Pokegenie before and it's told me it's 87. Yeah. And then I put the appraisal in and it told me, yeah, you're right, Stacks, because I'm always right. It was 100% IV.
It did with my Ursaring. My Ursaring was showing up as 96. The appraisal system showed it as 100 IV. I put it into Pokegenie, it was showing 96. I adjusted my level to make it more accurate and set my appraisal, and it again goes back to being 100 IV. So don't worry if you think you've evolved a Pokemon and it's lost IV, it hasn't. Update your IV checker, set your appropriate level, set your appraisal, and it will give you an accurate score again.
If you evolve your Makahita into Hariyama, the IVs will stay the same. And the follow-on question that came from that same guy was, yep, so if 100% IV Pokemon, example Eevee, if you evolve it, will any of its evolutions still be 100%? And the answer is a big fat yes. It will carry on being the same IV stat that it was when it was an Eevee, regardless of what it turns into. And that's as well as 3-tier evolution Pokemons as well. Right, this next question is from Dracum.
Yep. Ooh. Incidentally, can we give a shout out? Hit level 40 today. Well done. Welcome to the club.
Well done. Welcome to the level 40 club, which I'm 11 levels behind, but Stacks TV is anyway.
Stacks TV.
Yeah.
You may
Well done, mate.
There, busting.
Oh, let's book the Felix. So, right, she asks, what's the difference between CP and IV? Now, I've already sort of asked you a question off camera about when you're battling a Pokemon, are you battling its CP or its HP? Now, I know you're not battling its IV. So,
no, it's like you're battling its HP in battle. That's all you need to take out is the HP. But your CP, otherwise known as combat power, is basically your base stats again, with your 3. They're all summed up and added, and that gives you your CP. and that'll be your max level of that Pokemon. Your IV on top of that gives you your CP boost, which will give you a higher CP than what you could have had at, say, a basic rate. But that is basically all it is your CP is the sum of all your base stats added together, and it's worked out to the figure that will give you the top level of that Pokemon for your level on the game, and then your IV will boost on top of that to give you an extra kick on your CP.
Right, so as far as so I'm with IVs and HP on there, but CP at the minute, and I'm not trying to sound as if I'm trying to have an argument, but like, what's the point of CP in the game? I don't get it.
To be fair, CP was basically just their way in Pokemon Go of eradicating levels, because we all know the original Pokemon games, you had your levels 1 to 100, which they didn't really want to add into Pokemon Go because they don't want players trying to level up 1 through 100. It'd be a drag on this. You're going out on the game, you're trying to level certain Pokemon up and train them up through 100. It's going to be a drag. You're going to get bored with that many Pokemon. The idea is just to keep players interested, so CP just become a quick, efficient way to get the best out of each Pokemon. You could get it to combat power, you catch a decent Pokemon, you get a high CP, and it's ready to go. You could be a level 20 player with the max CP you could get for that Pokemon for that level when you're ready to battle a gym. Whereas you're a level 20 player on the original game, and you've only got level 20 Pokemon, and gyms around here are sat at 70 to 80 to 90, you're not going to touch the gyms, you're not going to want to play, you're not going to want to battle. So it was just an efficient way for them to introduce Pokemon levels without going to the tedious side of having to train them up, battle them.
Well, I remember the old gym system, and for any of you new players that don't know what I'm on about, just maybe close your ears, because if you don't know what I'm on about, well, there's no point in knowing. But like, when you put a Pokemon in a gym, the order in which the Pokemon were put in, the order in which you would battle the gym, they would be in CP order.
Yeah.
And there'd be 10 of them as well, could be 10 Blisses, and it'd be like whichever one had the most CP would be at the top of the gym. Now, I remember people were complaining about that because they were like, well, I was
first in
the gym, I should be the last one out.
Yeah.
So then Niantic did the rework with the gyms and made it so if you're the first one in, you're the first one out. But the battle wasn't on CP range.
No.
So it kind of, in my opinion, kind of made CP irrelevant.
Yeah, CP was irrelevant in the original gym system. It was literally just a trophy. You had a higher CP than somebody else, you sat higher in the gym, you looked better. But when you were beaten, you were out of the gym. It was as simple as that. It was XP of the gym. So the new system, you're actually battling what the Pokemon's worth. The higher CP, the higher level, the higher HP a Pokemon can stand. So the more damage you have to inflict to a Pokemon to get it out. So the old gym system was kind of broken, and it didn't make full use of the CP system. So when it first came out, CP was pretty much a waste of time. But now it has more value in the game.
Even with the, so when I say since they changed the gym, since they did the gym rework, and I felt like it was pointless, it does mean more than what it did before.
Yes, it means a lot more than what it did before, because like you say, you could just have a very high CP, but it could be a glass cannon. You could say you got a gym where the highest Pokemon in it's 2000, and you've got your Flareon 89 IV, 2200 odd. It would sit on top of that gym, despite the fact that it will die very quickly, very easily. It will stay in that gym until all the XP is eradicated from that gym. Whereas with the new system, you will drop that in and you will sit in the order you'll play, but that Pokemon's lack of HP will affect it defending the gym, because it will take damage quicker and it will go down a lot faster. So there is a lot more relevance now compared to what there used to be.
Right. Well, there we go then. There's no more questions. Is there anything else you think we should talk about?
Anything else you want to cover?
Yeah, right. Do you think that in Pokemon Go, now we all know, right, this is where this is coming from, right? I'm going the long way around this, sorry guys, right, but when we had Pokemon and we evolved them and they got crap movesets,
yeah.
In the end people were moaning that much that they had 100% IV Pokemon with a rubbish moveset that we actually got TMs. We asked for them and we got them. Let's give Niantic that. We asked for them, we got them. Do you think, especially with the buddy system that's in now, and has been for a while, they will ever give us the chance in Pokemon Go to be able to increase a Pokemon's IVs, or to specifically improve a Pokemon that we've got that you like, to make it more powerful, make it more better, instead of just powering it up with candies?
No, I actually like that question, because I just genuinely sat thinking about this the other day. With them bringing back the trainer badge, I can't imagine that they're only going to stick to us training with a gym. I genuinely believe there'll be some sort of training mechanism for a certain Pokemon at some point or other. Whether it be when we see PvP or things like that and you're battling in a gym, I think we might actually be able to train our Pokemon to a better potential. Whether Niantic actually implement it, I know there's been talk of it in the past of whether they could bring it in, and let's be honest, they're not going to bring the trainer badge back for no reason other than...
Well, the reason why I kind of asked that is because, for one, obviously, if you, what you deem as a hardcore player, and you've got let's just say a Pokemon that's 98%, and you want it to be 100, because you want all your top squad to be 100%, so you can just max it out even that, just that little bit more. They'd want to do that, right? Yeah. But then what if you're somebody who lives in the sticks and they've got like one Larvitar and they've only ever seen one Larvitar? Yeah, they can walk it as their buddy to get the candies to evolve it, but let's just say it's 53% IVs. The poor soul has got a 53% IV Pokemon with not much chance of getting a better one, because let's face it, I know we have events and stuff that happen where you can get Larvitars, but let's just, if you live in the sticks, there ain't that many spawn points, there ain't that many gym stops and all that good stuff.
No, Niantic do love, should we say, trampling on rural players. They don't exactly get the best end of the stick.
I have heard they're going to work on that, but like, the point is, like,
yeah, they've told us
they can't get that much access. Yeah, that's right. You can't get that. They can't get that much access to decent Pokemon. So they've got this one, this like poor little filly, right? He's got a 53% Larvitar. He's just walked it. He's got 124 candies, and he can finally fully evolve and get his first Tyranitar with Iron Tail and Fire Blast. Right? Poor little filly.
Yeah, but
can he in any way? Well, of course he can, but can he? Can you even in the main games improve a Pokemon to make it become 100%?
Yeah, in the main games, it wasn't based on individual values. There was no hidden depth to it. It was basically leveling the Pokemon up. So you train that Pokemon and you work that Pokemon to its best potential. Which, yes, they could bring in the game. And yes, we hope they do, and there are rumours of it, and there's lots of hints, but you will still have the same problem we currently have now. Any way they try and implement training a Pokemon up to it, improve its IV, will still benefit city players more than rural players. Because if you improve its IV in a gym, city players still have better access to gyms.
Because they're 10 a penny.
If it's through spawn rates and whether they implement battling Pokemon, city players will still always have better spawns. If it's PvP, city players, you tend to have more than rural players. So it's hard. Yes, we'd like to see it, and yes, there are rumours that they could do it, but it will always benefit city players more than rural players. That's unless they drastically update the game to benefit rural players, say like rarer spawns in areas that are less accommodating to gyms and poker stops. It's always going to be the same situation. So as much as we want to see it, it's always going to be the same hindrance.
I'll take that as a positive. I have to. I think poor little Philly who lives up in the village there, you hold on hope, and if they can bring it in and allow you to somehow make your rubbish Larvitar that you're going to evolve into a Tyranitar with Iron Tail and Fire Blast, because you can't get access to TMs because no one will raid with you. I think you can make it 100% one day as long as Niantic bring it in. Just hold on to hope, Philly.
Well, the game does constantly keep improving, and they keep doing more to try and help. And they've just got to push it that little bit harder, because there's lots they're still flawed on.
Well, that's it really about IVs now. I think we've covered quite a lot there. From me though, I will say that's zooming. There we go, focusing. That's where we're at. Next time we go out and play, we're booking the Felix. We're going to level 30.
And then IVs actually matter for him.
Then when you say, oh, this one's a good Pokemon, I can catch it and be happy that it's going to be good as well. Because do you remember that 100% IV Mareep that wasn't 100% IV for me, but the Caterpie was? It's because of things like that. Right then.
Oh yeah, that was something we really should have covered.
Go for it.
The fact that IVs for lower level players don't actually kick until we hit level 30. Everybody will have the same IVs on Pokemon Court once they get over level 30. Anything below that is random.
But if you've got two players that are under level 30, their IVs will be the same.
No, not guaranteed.
They're different for everybody under level 30.
Yeah.
Really?
It's a random CP and a random IV once you're below level 30. Anything over that, you will catch it the same CP, same IV, and you'll go from there. Anything under 30, it's basically the same as shinies. It's unrecognised spawns. It's just randoms, and you go from there.
Shinies.
We do love shinies. I can't get any at the minute.
That was quite an important piece of information that we forgot. I mean, there's probably the simplest bit of info that we forgot.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah. So levels 1 to 29. Your IVs are always going to be different to those that are over level 30. Well, at level 30 and over.
It just pushes the incentive to grind.
Yeah.
Pidgeys, rats, everything, just grind, get yourself to 30.
And that's another thing as well that I'll say. When I first started doing this YouTubing stuff, I kept saying, oh, you can't appraise and you can't check IVs till level 20, can you? But I hadn't picked my team yet. You can check the IVs and appraise it as soon as you pick a team. Now, we all know the only way you can go to choose a team is by hitting level 5, getting in a gym and choosing your team. Yep.
Don't listen to him.
Right, and I think we've covered everything. I think we've covered everything now.
Yeah. Anything else you haven't covered, feel free to drop Stacks TV a message. He will contact me. I can come back and quite happily answer any more questions you've got.
Yeah, I think we'll do more of these.
Quite happily, mate.
Any questions you've got, drop them in the comment section down below. I mean, we'll do videos on other subjects as well as IVs. I mean, this one's gone on
anything.
Probably a bit longer than I thought it would actually.
I spend far too much time sat looking at stats and going through
all sorts,
the ins and outs. So anything you want to know, more than happy to help. Always there for the big man. Right, so thanks for coming along. It's been a pleasure. You've enlightened me on a few subjects as well. Apart from it being a good morning, can you please give this video a like, just because he's come and give you a lot of information. Subscribe to the channel. Watch the video that's popped up somewhere around here, and yeah, apart from it being a good morning, good night. Good night. That's a wrap. Sound.